All right, Shalom. We give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rachakadash, the honors to the apostles and elders of great most on who rule well. Peace, glory, and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of earth. I'm the brother Shaman from Great Millstone, St. Louis. Um, Shalakim. Just wanted to touch on an important topic, man, because just like brothers have been saying, the consensus has become that we're coming into times where basically your faith is going to be tested like never before. And it's one thing for brothers to say it, but then when you get into that situation, and that hell is on you, and you might be hungry, or you might whatever condition that you become in, you become prone to making emotional decisions versus moving in the spirit. All right, and that's why it's called the hour of temptation, because it's going to tempt you, and it's going to the opportunity, to basically conceive and you know get out of it. Just like with all of the other men of the Lord, it's going to pop into your mind. All right, and it's gonna, just like all this other wicked shit, you can't control, what wickedness pops into your head. The scriptures say the heart is deceitful above all things, and from the time, we're children in this world, we're kind of prone to the images that this man pushes, the ideals. And so, us being renewed and called back to the faith, you still see the same stuff. You still, you know, you still kind of have the same things basically in your psyche, is what I'm trying to say. And it's important, to keep building up faith, to build up faith so you can, it'll help you maintain your integrity basically in that day. And this is Second Maccabees 6. I just wanted to touch on the story of Eleazar, because this is something, that's very important, very noble. Because there's one thing when you read these stories about these people, but then, you think about it, how many people could, fill into the same shoes? You say, Lord willing, that could be me, Lord willing, but, you never know until you actually get there, and you pray that you have the faith to do so. It says, moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. And for their 2 women brought, who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led round about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. Yep. And others that and that just goes to show you just the wickedness and the vileness that these people have, towards us. How they purposely fed us pork. They purposely gave us the bottom of the barrel stuff. They purposely made us go off away from the law. They did that all of that on purpose, knowing a lot of them knowing who we were. All right, and just like now today, here it is, we're standing up through the Spirit. We're saying that we're Israelites. We're doing all the things that the Scriptures say doing, and somehow, another of these Edomites are still trying to deny us, of our birthright. Here it is. They haven't seen any of our genealogical records. They haven't, went back and looked up where our family might come from. Maybe, there was, somebody who they perceive to be Jewish, in there somewhere. If you get what I'm trying to say, they haven't looked any of that up. But just the fact that you were a slave and you're a descendant from that, nah, you couldn't be a Jew. Nah, no way. And why not? Why couldn't you be? Because they know in the back of their mind, look, the Jews control everything. Well, I'll say so-called Jays control everything, right? Really, that we know them as Amalekites, the A's, but the so-called Jays control everything. So you're not rich, you're not in a position of power. You couldn't possibly be, one of those people of that book. All right? There's just no way. Like you had the what they call the Sephardic Jews. Let's see what the word Sephardic means. Now here you go to etymology, it'll tell you a Spanish or Portuguese Jew. From modern Hebrew, Sephardim, Spanish Jews, blah blah blah. So they kind of etymon online, Slovakia. They kind of get it correct, but then to understand that, what do you have to do? You have to go into the Hebrew. This is the Hebrew for book, the word for book, because it's the people of the book. Safar, and that's actually in the Lashawan Kodash. All right, not the Yiddish. All right, to get that word Safar, you have to go into the Lashawan Kodash, which that's the beginning basis of the word Sephardic. Safar. All right, people of the book. All right, but going back here, because this is what the main lesson was on. It said, and whoso will not conform themselves to the manners of Gentiles should be put to death. Then a man might have seen present misery. Let's see, I read that. I'm going to jump down to verse 11. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day discreetly, being discovered to Philip, were all burnt together, because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. Now I beseech those that read this book, that they be not discouraged for those calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. For it is a token of his great goodness, when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. Lest that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. Right. Yeah, so just like it said, man, for not as with other nations whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, till they, yeah. So he basically, man, he deal with us. All right. It is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time. And that's exactly what happened with the nation of Israel, because the whole earth was given to the hand of the wicked. All right, but with Israel, with our people, we get that quick punishment. We get that quick hand. All right, it's like brothers talk about. You grew up with siblings. I remember myself when I would do anything, boy, I would never get away with it. I always get to tag for it, and that was the spirit of the Lord, though. That's the spirit of the Lord. You get, so you don't go down that path, of doing sneaky shit, because all the guys who got away with doing stuff when they were younger, they basically repeated the pattern. They got older, and then they got caught up in wickedness. All right, and that's a blessing for the Lord to be dealing with us that way, but it don't always feel like that. All right, right now in this present day with our people, they're begging for mercy, they're begging for reparations, they're begging for all of these things which are written in the scriptures, but they're written a certain way, and you have to go about a certain way to receive salvation. You have to go about a certain way to receive the kingdom, to receive all the things that our people want. They want to be royalty, king and queen, and all of this. They want to be separated from these people, all right? We're going to be separated, from them as well. They want to be over them. They want to take over. That's the nature of the sons of Jacob, all right? And all of that is going to happen, but it's going to be under how the Lord basically wants it to happen. And the scriptures talk about that too, all right? And it says, for therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us. Yeah, he never took his mercy away. And though he punished with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. Right. But let this that we have spoken be for a warning unto us. And now will we come to the declaring of the matter in a few words. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth, and came of his own accord to the torment. Yep. It said, "And as it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for the love of life to be tasted. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king, that in doing so he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor." Right. So they kind of knew him before, Esau came and changed things, and they were like, look, just select it. Just pretend, just like it said, look, he could bring his own meat, basically, which is lawful for him, but just pretend like you eating, pork. Just pretend like you going along with it. Just go along with it. Just do it. All right, which, when we go out into this world, you do have to blend in. You have to do certain things, but you don't gotta eat. You don't gotta do that. You don't have to conform to what they're trying to get you to conform to. All right, you can supplant too, man. You can take it. Okay, now, yeah, I'm gonna take this home and then go around the corner and throw that shit away. It's a lot of ways to do that. All right, but in this case, it was our people being wicked, trying to make each other, do that bullshit. All right, and that's the same thing that the leaders now have done for Native Americans, for Latinos, so-called black people. They've kept us, at the top. They've basically, formulated a contract with Esau. They get paid a certain amount, but they're initiated, basically to be under Esau. All of these different orders, the Boule and the Links and whatever organization, is under that Greco-American vibration. All right, with all the leaders, all the people you see on TV have already shook a hand with. All right, but as long as they come together and nothing gets done, and especially, you talking about going back to the Lord according to the scriptures. No, wait, you talking about becoming a Jew? Oh, hell no. No, because if we did that, now, because, here, what we're reading about, our people knew that we were Jews. We knew. We still had our heritage, that's a lot of things we still preserved. But now, they've taken even that to try to further confuse us. All right? And this is 1 Thessalonians 5:22. It said what? Abstain from all appearance of evil. So you're not even supposed to, appear to do evil, man. You're not even supposed to. No, I'm not. If Esau's sitting there, hey man, have a bite of this. You ain't gotta take a bite of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you could take a piece, wrap it in a napkin. Okay, whatever. Or hell, you could even just say, look, man, I'm not even hungry right now. Maybe I'll come back and get some later. All right. But in this specific situation, basically they were having a feast and they were trying to set the man up. Yep. And they said, but he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age and excellency of his ancient years and the honor of his great head, he had the hoary head of wisdom. He had seen some things. He knew some things. Whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by the Most High. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straight ways to send him to the grave. Yep. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, so he was 90 years old, were now going to a strange religion. Yeah, he didn't even want, basically he knew, man, if the young people see me doing this, man, if they see me going off, they're gonna say, damn, man, even Eleazar gave up, man. Even old school, gave in to what's going on. I gotta do it too. So he knew and understood that, all right. Whereas, a lot of our people now, older cats, they, kind of dropped the ball. All right, but it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because they do have a great zeal, and a lot of them are going to wake up. A lot of them are going to see the truth, but then, 2/3 of the nation of Israel is not. and that's just the majority, and that's just what it is. All right, because that's like a cliche, like don't follow the crowd, but you kind of have, when you're growing up, you have social interactions, you learn things from different people, so on and so forth. So you kind of blend in, but now, when you take in this knowledge of who you are, now this is really the game changer. This is really what separates you because you know the truth. You know who you really are. You know basically why you're here and what it really is. All right, and that's what Eleazar said. Look, man, I'm gonna keep my integrity throughout this situation, and that's very important, man. Maintaining your integrity to the end. All right, you got people who come on, ask a question. Well, can I just take the chip and then maybe I can go around the corner and take it out? No, that's not maintaining your integrity. All right, that's giving in to Esau. That's a no. It said, and so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to my own age and make it abominable right. He said, yeah, look, rather than even trying to, uh, just get a little, because that's what's gonna happen. If he would have ate it, he would have got a little moment to live, and then the Most High probably would have put him to death. It said, for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Exactly. Wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as mine age requireth. And that's exactly what happens when you reach a certain age, man. You're supposed to show, you're supposed to show a certain level of maturity, of respect, of integrity. That's an important part in the faith as well, man. Trying to get to that level, trying to reach. It says, and leave a notable example to such as be young, to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. They that led him, being the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred, because the foresaid speeches proceeded, as they thought, from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, and whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten, but in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him. And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but to all his nation. Exactly. And yeah, and the thing about it is, man, the apostles and elders, they've set the example, they've set the bar, and they've showed us, what it means to be integrity, what it means to have integrity, Salaki, what it means to grow, and all these different things, and that's really important. That example is set, because a lot of times, as a young man, not having as much experience, you might not understand certain things or have certain experience doing things, but seeing that example, that can guide you, and that's all of us experience that, waking up to the truth. All right, so Lord willing, this is edifying. It's a good story, it's a good story to read and to go over, because we're coming into those times where you might have to take those stripes. All right, but that if you do, you're taking those stripes for, you being persecuted for the Lord's sake. All right, because the scriptures also say what? He that knoweth, basically he that knows the word and he doesn't act towards it, he that doeth not, like a lot of our people, will be beaten with many stripes. And a lot of our people are going to be beaten with stripes, in dishonor. All right? We want, if you do have to go through that, something like that, you want to be, beaten with stripes and know that you're dying as a martyr. You're going out for the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. So Lord willing, this will be edifying. This will be a comfort to the brothers. Shalom.